This is the DJI Neo, and it is the worst camera drone I have ever owned. But it's not all bad. Let's dive into the specs. This drone weighs only 135 grams. It takes off from the palm, it lands in your palm, it has multiple control options, it records in 4K ultra stabilized video, and has full coverage propeller guards so you don't get your fingers trapped in it. So let's just have a quick look at this. Feels quite plasticky, it's solid. And believe me, I know it's solid because I crashed it into a building, as you can see on screen right now, and it just ricocheted off it. This takes some beating. I think it's made out of the same plastic as the Mini. It's comparison in the color. It's really nice. You can also see on top here, we've got some buttons here. So in fact, you can just do some quick shots. This is a new innovation from DJI. You can just press the button and flick through them. But what does this weigh up against other drones? As you can see, I've got 4 other drones here. Let's take the Mini. Now, when you look at the size comparison to this and the Mini, this looks bigger, but it's not until you unfold it, you truly get an idea of the actual difference. You can see on the top-down camera, when you put the little Neo over the top, it takes up far less space, and you just consider those props as well. Now, this camera offers full protection, as you can see. It's got guards either side of it, so if you do hit something front on like I did, you're fine. But because these guards are almost just probably about a millimeter in front, you don't have any issues with it. Unlike the Classic and the Mini, your camera is fully exposed, but then they have designed this for complete beginners so that you don't have to worry about it. I mean, I was flying this in FPV mode and hitting poles. It was just bouncing off, a bit jarring to the face, but it was just bouncing off. Nothing wrong with it at all. But let's cut to the chase now. Why is, in my opinion, this the worst drone DJI released? And that is the camera. This is my biggest complaint about it. They've advertised it at 4K 30 frames per second, but it's not a great 4K, and the fact that you don't have any options of changing your frame rate to higher is ridiculous because you can't get slow motion. This is pitched as a video blogging drone because it's got this advanced feature where it cuts out the prop sounds of it flying, so you can just talk to it. Don't get me started on, yeah, that's fine, that's great, but what about the people around you hearing this drone buzzing around? Let's not forget that, but that's a whole different video. The other thing I don't like is there's no control over exposure. There's no D-log or syntone or whatever you like to call it. You can't say, I want like a more vibrant look. You can do some post-editing on it, but there's absolutely none. I'm so passionate about it. There's absolutely no chance of changing it. You get what you get. And when you compare the footage with these other drones especially, you can see that the video is so contrasty. It's so saturated and they focus so much on the features, but they totally forgot why you're doing this in the first place. And that is to film or take photos. And it's a major letdown. I do hope that DJI watch this and realise that they need to do some sort of firmware update where they can bring in more advanced features to do with that side of things. So we've done some tests here amongst the other drones and it fails in low light. You can see the amount of noise coming through on the screen right now. It reminds me of an old mobile phone when camera phones first came out. It's unusable. Now what DJI do, they advertise it, quick shots, all these beautiful places. And of course I know they're selling, but that's not the reality of it. So if you're gonna fly this, you need good light to flood that sensor because it's a half sensor. You need light on it. So you don't stand a chance of flying this at night, that is for sure. But as much as I'm moaning about it, this is an extremely enjoyable drone to fly. And I'm not their target audience at all, and you may not be either. If you've never flown drones before, this is absolutely fantastic. I would highly recommend anyone who says, I need to get a drone, what do you recommend, Andy? this drone. Now DJI have this fantastic new ability with an AI to isolate your voice. So you can just use your phone, talk to your phone, it records the audio, and then it removes the sound of the drone. I mean, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It does a really good job at it. But what it doesn't do is remove the real sound for people around you. So you still need to be aware that if you're walking along and you're talking, great, and you edit it, but the people around you, because this is a noisy little thing. Don't get me started on wind. This can hold its own, believe me, but it's more difficult to control. Your videos aren't going to be so stable and so smooth. So it is buffeted around like anything, especially with these guards on it. You could take the guards off, but then I wouldn't recommend that if you're going to palm catch it. I have stuck my finger in this. It doesn't hurt, but it's unpleasant. So who is this drone for? It is 100% hands down for complete beginners. If I was moving into the drone world for the first time, I'll buy this. For £169 alone for just a drone, absolutely fantastic. For us, we will never use this on a professional shoot, ever. And that is for the camera alone. It is no good in low light. And when you match it up against pro level cameras, you will spot the difference even more. And I'm not willing to put that sort of content out, especially charge a client for it. So what do you think? If you're a first time flyer, grab this. If you've got an opinion, comment below. And as always, would love a subscribe. And check out this video for more drone related stuff.